So this is the Euybike S4, and it's one of the most affordable big battery e-bikes that you can get off of Amazon. So you get a 1,000-watt hub motor, you get front and rear suspension, and you get a big 48-volt, 25-amp-hour battery. And you get all of this delivered to your door from Amazon for just over $1,000. So is the Euybike S4 worth it? Well, that's what we're gonna find out today. So let's get this thing out on the road and test it out. The ride on this Euybike S4 is actually really plush. It's very comfortable. The front and rear suspension are definitely really good on this bike. And down here you have your compression and your preload adjustment. I usually just keep it on the softest setting because I just prefer a more comfortable ride. So the rear shock on this bike is really comfortable as well. It's obviously a coil, it's not air suspension, but I think it gets the job done. There's plenty of travel and it's really comfortable, like I said. So the seat here is actually pretty comfortable. And I ordered the bike without the rear seat, but it came with one anyway. Really glad that it did come with the rear seat because right now I'm sitting kind of in the middle of the seat. And without this rear seat, it'd kind of be a little bit awkward to sit on this thing because I'd have to be sitting really far forward. So if you do pick this thing up, I would definitely recommend getting the back seat for this. It's really not made for a second person back there. I mean, you could in a pinch, like if you just wanted to take somebody out for a ride real quick. So the handlebars here are actually really comfortable. I like this riding position. It's a lot more of a cruiser style, like relaxed type of ride. On my Ridstar Q20, it's a lot more of a hunched forward, like mountain bike sort of ride, but this is a nice, comfortable, relaxed, comfortable riding bike. And the position of the handlebars definitely reflects that. This thing feels a lot less sporty and a lot more like just a relaxed cruiser. You take this thing out when you want to have a nice, chill, comfortable ride, and I really like that about this bike. So this is the cockpit here. You can see it's pretty basic, no frills. You have your hydraulic brake levers here, and you've got your little menu thing here for the screen, and then you've got your controls for the headlight and the horn. And then you have over here shifter and your twist throttle. And it is a 7-speed Shimano shifter. You can pedal this thing. So the screen on this bike, it gets the job done. It's not the nicest I've ever seen, but it's also not the worst. It's pretty basic. You can see you have your odometer here, you have your speedometer, you have your pedal assist number, and then you do have a battery percentage readout, which is nice. And then you can move through the pedal assist on the little menu thing here. And to get into the settings menu on this, you just hold the up and down button until it pops up. And then the M button changes down here. You can see your trip, your volts. You can actually see your current on this bike too, which is nice. You can see I'm pulling 10 amps there. So overall, it's a pretty basic screen, but it does get the job done. So styling on this bike. Styling obviously is subjective, but I think this is a pretty cool looking bike. I've had a lot of people who have seen this and they've really liked the design on this bike. I think the red accents on here and the brown seat are kind of a cool look. I probably would have preferred a black seat, but it does give it a unique look and it does grab people's attention. This bike obviously does come with pedals, and I'm just going to shift into a high gear here. I'm in pedal assist 3. I changed it in the settings. It did come with 5 pedal assist settings, but I changed it in the settings so that it only has 3 because I don't really pedal this thing much. So to get into the settings menu, you just hold up and down on the controller there, and then what you're going to want to do is hit M, and you're going to go to PO5. And if you want to change your pedal assists, you change the number from 3 to 5 to 9. And what that means is just how many levels of pedal assist. So I switched mine to 3, but the default that it comes with is 5. You know, this thing obviously is a bicycle and you can pedal it. And I think in a pinch it'd probably be fine, but this isn't really a type of bike that you'd want to be sitting and getting exercise on. I've said it before, these moped style e-bikes are definitely bikes that you're going to want to use throttle mostly. You're not necessarily going to be riding around getting much exercise on this thing. But this definitely is more comfortable to pedal than my Ridstar is. If you were much taller than I was, this would probably not be very comfortable for you to pedal. I'm not sure how many teeth the front sprocket has. It is pretty big, but after 20 miles an hour, I'm not really doing much pedaling. This is a cadence sensor bike though, so I mean in pedal assist 3, you're just gonna take off. And after 20 miles an hour, I am not pedaling. I'm not doing anything here. But yeah, in pedal assist 3, you just take off. And so if you do want to pedal this bike, you're going to want to keep it in a lower pedal assist number. So in pedal assist 2 here, and it looks like it wants to take us up to probably about 21 miles an hour. And it does come with a Shimano shifter, like I said, and a Shimano derailleur in the back. Everything seems really well adjusted out of the box. I didn't have to mess with it at all, but yeah, I'm not pedaling this thing much. But if you do have to pedal in a pinch, it's perfectly fine. So this thing does come with a 1,000 watts hub motor, and it has a top speed of 32 miles an hour on this 48 volt system. And you can even do some light off-roading like this, and that suspension really helps make it a lot more comfortable to be off-roading on this thing. But yeah, you can off-road on this. I've taken it in mud and stuff, as you can see, and it's done a really good job. So yeah, this motor has plenty of power for hills and stuff like that. I've actually almost thrown myself off the back of this bike a few times because when you floor it, it really does. It gives you all the power. Overall, I think this motor on this thing is more than adequate. It feels really good. It is a little bit loud, but honestly, it doesn't bother me too much. That's just something that I noticed. Ooh, absorbent bumps, no problem. The big value proposition on this bike is that 25 amp hour battery. Really, at that $1,000 price point, a lot of times you were looking at a 48 volt, 20 amp hour or 18 amp hour system, but to see a 25 amp hour battery on this bike is really impressive. Now, if you don't know, a higher amp hour rating is like a bigger gas tank on a car. You're going to be able to have more fuel, more energy, so you're going to be able to ride longer and further. Now, it is pretty easy to drain this battery because you can just floor it, and it is a pretty fast bike. But when I took this thing out initially for a test on a full charge, I got about 32 miles, and I still had a few miles in the tank. And it is winter here in Illinois, and it's pretty cold outside. And that obviously does affect the battery, but in warmer weather, I could definitely see getting 35, 40 miles out of this bike easily in nicer weather. So overall, this battery is really impressive, but it's not perfect. As far as I can tell, it's not UL listed, and I think it does use generic cells because I didn't see anything about using Samsung or LG cells in this battery. So take that for what it is. For around $1,000, it doesn't surprise me that this is a generic battery. For the value, I think that can be forgiven that this is a generic battery. Look, you could easily find bikes for 2 or 3 times the price of this bike and not have the same amount of features that this bike does. So this bike comes with a 2 amp charger out of the box, and it is a pretty slow charger, and it's going to take you 10 or 12 hours to charge this thing from a completely flat battery. But for the price, I think it can be forgiven, and I understand why they did it. They just had to cut costs. So for this bike, I paid about $1,100 shipped to my door on Amazon. And if you're in a place where there's no sales tax, you might get an even better price on it. On their listing, they have a couple coupon codes. It retails for like $1,400, I believe. But they have a few coupon codes that actually knocks it down to just over $1,000. The cool thing is you can still commute on this bike. You can use this as an everyday vehicle for sure. So let's see how this does on this little incline here. So we got a little bit of a run out. This is a pretty steep hill here. It handles it well. I'm gonna go back down here and do it from a stop. All right, so we're at the beginning of the incline here and go. Yeah, I mean, it's getting up here. I don't know how steep this incline exactly is, but it's a pretty steep hill. You'd have a tough time pedaling it. And I weigh about 150 pounds here, just for reference. But yeah, it climbs hills really well. That 1,000-watt motor definitely helps. So you guys can probably hear this, but the brakes on this bike are actually pretty squeaky. I don't know what it is. I have the worst luck with bike brakes, but yeah, these are pretty squeaky. I'm probably gonna buy an extra set of pads and see if that helps. But I tried brake cleaner, I tried a bunch of stuff, and they're still squeaking. Overall, besides the squeakiness, the brakes on this bike are actually really good. They are mineral fluid filled, and they are a bit squishy. I don't know if that's normal for mineral fluid bikes. My other bike that I have is DOT 4 fluid, so I'm not sure. But they are a little bit squishy, but they stop completely fine. I don't think it affects it. So yeah, the tires on this bike are a pretty knobby tread pattern, and they're really good. They're pretty loud on the street, like you'd expect for a knobby tire. But overall, I've done some good off-roading on this, and I really like these tires that come with it. And they even come with this reflective strip around here, which is an interesting feature. I've never really seen that, but I guess it's good for visibility. This rear tail light is also a brake light, which is nice. So the headlight on this bike is pretty cool too. You can see I have it illuminated here, but the cool thing about this is it has this daytime running mode where the halo is always on. You can't really see it because we're out in the day right now, but I like that the halo is always running. It's really cool, and it's also good for visibility. So with all that being said, should you go out and spend your hard-earned money on this bike? Well, look, if you're looking for a moped-style e-bike, if you're in the market for one, and you don't want to spend more than like $1,100 or $1,200, I think this is a really good option, especially since you get such a big battery, and you can get other bikes like the Ridstar Q20, and there's a few other good deals on Amazon right now for other bikes that are similar to this that hopefully I'll get on the channel here soon. But I think that this is a very, very strong contender for the price point of this bike. And it's just a good bike, full stop. Not even for the price, just in general, it's a really nice bike. These are features that you would definitely see on a bike 2 or 3 times this price. So the value proposition here, to get a big 25 amp hour battery, get that nice 32 mile an hour top speed, 1000 watt hub motor, hydraulic brakes, adjustable front suspension, all that stuff. You are just getting a value packed bike here for around that $1,000 price point. So I 100% can recommend this if you're in the market for a moped style e-bike around this price. And if you guys do want to check this bike out and go pick one up for yourself, I'll leave some links in the description for you guys to go check it out. And of course, those links do help support me and the channel so I can keep getting cool bikes like this for review. But guys, that is the Euybike S4. I'll try and keep you guys updated on this bike after I put some more miles on it. It is winter time here in Illinois, so the nice days are limited where I can go out and ride, and I probably won't put as many miles as I have on my Ridstar on this thing yet, but I'll keep you guys updated and see how it holds up. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.